Okay, I'm gonna kill all my credibility with y'all. So, you know I'm a disco dude, right? So I'm listening to Studio 54 radio. I'm listening to, getting all the pride out as early as I can. Nah, but that's bullshit, man. Disco was music for everybody, man. When I was growing up, even people who were rockers, people who were like rock, maybe some of the teenagers weren't, but like people like my mother who liked rock music, they loved going to disco clubs. They loved dancing, you know. It was a good time, man. It was like, you know, me growing up now, of course this is a little after, I'm growing up in New York, and I'm listening to WBLS, I'm listening to the old KTU, right, 92.3. I'm listening to Kiss FM had just, I think, Kiss FM had just came out. It was 81 or something. So you had all this, like, you know, you had all this music. And I grew up with it, and I liked it. It was like the kind of music I liked. So we got Shalimar, right? Jody Watley. What do you know about that? She had some solo hits, right? But Shalimar's, what the hell? Shalimar was put together by that group, the guy from the Silvers, LA based. They produced like the Whispers. There was like a group, Dynasty, which I think was the bass player, the guy like in the band, and then Shalimar. Shalimar was probably the biggest thing they had. Yeah. Oh man, this is good shit. Now I know what you're thinking. You know me. You know I'm loyal. Loyalty. To what? You know my honor is my loyalty, but I don't care. I like this music, right? Always did. So, and of course, it's the more urban end of it. But now what is this? Oh, son. Okay, here we go. But of course, disco. Okay, as much as I know Nile Rodgers likes to say, oh, the racist white people and the homophobic white people, they got rid of disco, right? Well, it's not that simple. And meanwhile, disco wasn't primarily, it wasn't just black music, okay? A lot of disco was European, that's right. Case in point, my man Cerrone, right? Cerrone, I'm not sure how his name's pronounced, but I think it's Cerrone. Actually, a Frenchman, that's right. A drummer, but he was really big, and this is like mid-70s, right? The Italo disco, the Euro disco is really, yeah, there's really a lot of the disco music. Like, yeah, so turn it up, yo. And of course, Cerrone was a drummer and a producer. More famous for, of course, Supernature, one of the creepiest disco songs I think ever made. And of course, when you have Italo disco, you also have a connection to one of my favorite things, of course, Italian horror film soundtracks. Right? Like Claudio Simonetti, when he left Goblin, right? When you had the second version of Goblin, right? When he left, he became a big disco guy. There's a bunch of disco stuff he did. So, and soundtracks on his own, but, you know. But this is Cerrone. Yeah. You see how they arrange the strings? Anyway, so disco was definitely, and of course there's a lot of British disco. I was going over yesterday, right? A lot of the new romantic music, there was a disco influence on these punk rockers. Right? So now, yeah, that's it. Now you wish it was the 70s, don't you, all of you? Even though I was a little kid, but we wish it was the 70s again, and we could somehow maybe, I don't know, change a few things. Whoa, hold on, whoa. Okay, where I'm at, there's a lot of wildlife. I almost had a falcon hit my car. I guess he doesn't like disco. Anyway, it is. production. Of course, what is the whole knock on disco from a musician's point of view? Right? It's none of it's real. It's all prefabricated. This is before the electronics. Right? It's all just a studio production. The producers are everything. Like I said, half of your disco music that you heard on the black stations, even if they had black American vocalists and singers, it was always two Italian guys from Italy, making a lot of the music. But always, this was overproduced. Like I said, they weren't real groups. They were just hired people. Whatever, man. The whole goal was to get your booty, shake your booty. To get, have this in the club. Have, forget your troubles. Do some cocaine. Yeah. But anyway. Now, you know me, I'm going to do a trifecta because I think the other video is probably testing your patience. Because I'm supposed to be Mr. Macho Metal guy. And no one knows, my whole life, this is the music I grew up with. Yeah. I guess you could say that's classical influence. So, all your Aryans. Alright, so now, of course, that was the short version. So now let's see what the third song is. Hopefully it's a good one. Let's see. Oh, damn, okay. Alright, this is obviously early 80s when you're starting to use electronic stuff. Now, do I remember this song? This sounds like... Oh, that shit's hot. Listen to that, yo. Oh, shit. Yeah, this is already getting into freestyle. All my New York people, remember freestyle? The worst goons, the most violent criminal people I knew. This was the music they listened to. Okay, not heavy metal. Okay, not punk rock. The craziest criminal dudes, who many of them are not around anymore. This is what they would play all the time. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, now you're hearing. It's not real drums. Like Cerrone was a drummer, right? He would do drum solos, right? On the longer cuts. This is all electronic. Yeah. Yeah, this is like that freestyle, the Arthur Baker, Shannon, whatever. This was real fucking Guido music. I don't know how else to say it. Back in the day, Cousins, right? When they were ugly and violent, like motherfuckers. Not this Jersey Shore shit. Now a lot of this stuff I think is based out of Miami. It's like a Miami, you say it's a Miami sound, whatever, I don't know. But this is, you notice how now it's all electronics. So, you got the 808s, you got all these, drum sequencers. You want to talk about studio, like, the producer as the main person. Well, this is it. Yeah. Listen to this. Freestyle. Although Marley Marl was right. Marley Marl said, freestyle is a part of hip-hop. Then again, freestyle hip-hop all comes out of disco. Right? And they were doing this crazy shit with this. I remember it was international. Remember Freeze? One of the greatest early freestyle breakdancing, whatever you want to call this, was Freeze. Remember, they were British. They were like a British jazz fusion band. And then like the two main guys then started doing this music. Going to New York and like producing and making like that song AEIOU. Remember that song? That song was like a certified like, dude, I just think of going to Coney Island and that song's playing, man. Back when it was, when I was a kid. Yeah, listen to that shit's hot, yo. Come on. Remember, my honor's still my loyalty, don't worry. Yeah, you like synthwave, but where do you think this stuff comes from? It comes from European Italo disco. So, and of course all your soundtracks, your video game soundtracks, okay? Yeah, I go in deep. I can make connections my mother always says that you link too many things together that aren't related, and I go, you're wrong, because things are complex, things are interesting, the web, the links in the chain, so to speak. Yeah. I hear this fucking music, yo. I feel like fucking doing it. I feel like, where's my baseball bat? Hey, yo, Anthony, look at that fucking guy over there. Look at that faggot. Yo, let's kick his fucking ass. Yeah, come on. Let's kick his fucking ass. Right? I think I'm joking, man. I was in a car with guys who wanted to do that. I was fucking horrified. Yeah. Yeah, I was the cousin, the younger cousin was a kid I was friendly with, and these guys were going around. They wanted to just beat up a guy with a weapon because they thought it would be entertaining. Okay? Needless to say, I stayed very far away from those assholes. They're both dead, by the way, now. So good riddance. Anyway, and what's this? I've already hit you with enough disco, but if I remember correct. Sergio Mendes. He was like a Brazilian, right? I think he was a Brazilian. But yeah, listen to this stuff. Yeah, dude. Now you can see that there's a lot of diversity in disco, right? There's a lot of variety in sound. Anyway. Here we go. Anyway, that's my DJ disco hour. Or disco 11 minutes, 12 minutes. Oh, this is a remix. Yeah. Anyway, enjoy as I go out to the highway for one exit. Later.